Have you ever heard the saying, the calmest person in the room is the most powerful? I never really understood what that meant until it became the only way I could survive. My story isn't about shouting matches or slammed doors. It's about how silence can be the loudest sound in the world, and how the best revenge is a life well lived, completely without the person who broke your heart. My name is Mark, and for 15 years, Sarah was my world. We met in college, two kids with big dreams and not much else. We built a life together from scratch. I poured everything I had into our relationship, into our home, into her happiness. I was a software developer, and while the hours were long, the pay was good. It allowed Sarah to pursue her dream of opening a small boutique art gallery. I was her biggest cheerleader, her financial backer, her handyman, anything she needed. I thought we were a team, building an empire, brick by brick. Looking back, I realize I was the only one laying the foundation. The first crack appeared on our 15th anniversary. I had planned a surprise trip to Italy, a place she'd always dreamed of visiting. I'd spent months saving, coordinating, even learning a few basic Italian phrases to impress her. The night I was going to reveal the tickets, she came home late from the gallery. She looked tired, distant. When I presented her with the tickets, she just stared at them. There wasn't the explosion of joy I expected. Just a faint smile and a, "Wow, Mark, that's a lot. I'm just so swamped with the new exhibition right now." My heart sank. Swamped? For a dream trip? It was the first time I felt a cold knot of doubt in my stomach. But I pushed it down. I told myself she was just stressed. I made excuses for her, like I always did. The cracks started spreading after that. Late nights, organizing inventory, weekend trips to art fairs she'd never mentioned before, and a new password-protected phone that was surgically attached to her hand. The intimacy we shared had evaporated, replaced by a polite, chilly distance. I'd try to hug her and she'd stiffen. I'd ask about her day, and I'd get one-word answers. It was like living with a ghost, a beautiful stranger who just happened to share my bed. The worst part was the loneliness. You can be in a crowded room and feel alone, but there is no loneliness more profound than lying next to someone you love and knowing they are a million miles away. I knew. Deep down, I think I knew for months, but admitting it would make it real, and I wasn't ready for that reality. The final confirmation came not with a bang, but with a quiet little ping, an email notification. I had helped her set up the gallery's business accounts, and my email was still linked as a backup for billing. An email came through one evening. It was a receipt from a fancy hotel downtown, a place known for romantic getaways. The charge was for a couples massage package and a 2-night stay. It was for the weekend she was supposedly at an art fair in another state. My blood ran cold. I clicked on the details, my hand shaking. The room was booked under her name, and the name of a man I knew. He was a wealthy patron of the arts who had been spending a lot of time at her gallery. The man she had described as a sweet old benefactor, like a father figure. My first instinct was pure, white-hot rage. I wanted to smash things. I wanted to confront her, to scream, to demand answers. I paced our beautiful empty house for what felt like hours, the silence pressing in on me. And then, as the anger began to subside, it was replaced by an icy calm. A profound clarity washed over me. What would shouting accomplish? Tears? Accusations? She would deny it, gaslight me, make me feel like I was the crazy one. I had seen her do it with smaller things for years. No. That was her game. I wasn't going to play. I was going to change the rules. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to be the victim. I was going to be the architect of my own exit. The calmest man in the room always wins. The next morning I made Sarah her favorite breakfast, blueberry pancakes. She was surprised but pleased. I acted as if nothing had happened. I asked about the art fair and listened with a serene smile as she spun a web of lies about the artists she met and the pieces she saw. Each lie was a little snip of the scissors, cutting the threads that still bound me to her. It was liberating. While she was busy creating her fictional weekend, I was busy creating my factual future. My revenge wasn't going to be about hurting her. It was going to be about saving myself. It was about surgically removing her from my life with precision and finality, leaving no mess, no drama, just a clean, quiet void where I used to be. The first step was information. Quietly, I started gathering documents, bank statements, property deeds, investment portfolios. I had financed the gallery. The loans were in my name. The house was purchased with my inheritance. I had been naive, mixing our finances completely because I trusted her. Now, that trust was a weapon I had to disarm. I made copies of everything. I met with a lawyer, a sharp, no-nonsense woman who listened to my story without a flicker of judgment. When I told her I wanted to avoid a messy, public fight, she nodded. "A silent exit," she said. "The most effective kind." We laid out a strategy. It was methodical, calculated, and completely legal. For the next 2 weeks, I was the perfect husband. I was attentive, I was kind, I listened to her stories. I even helped her hang a new collection at the gallery, smiling at her and her benefactor, as they exchanged knowing glances when they thought I wasn't looking. They thought I was a fool. They underestimated me. They mistook my calmness for ignorance. That was my greatest advantage. While they were playing their petty little games, I was moving chess pieces they couldn't even see. I systematically separated our joint accounts, moving my own earnings into new individual accounts. I contacted the bank that held the loan for her gallery. Following my lawyer's advice, I began the process of calling in the loan, which I had the right to do, since I was the sole guarantor, and the business was failing to meet certain financial covenants she was unaware of. The final day arrived. It was a Tuesday. I woke up early, packed 2 suitcases with my clothes and personal belongings. I left her closet untouched, her art, her life. I walked through the house one last time, not with sadness, but with a sense of peace. I wrote her a note. It wasn't angry or accusatory. It was just 4 simple sentences. "Sarah, I know about you and him. The hotel receipts confirmed everything. My lawyer will be in touch to handle the divorce. I wish you the best." I placed the note on my pillow next to a printed copy of the hotel bill. Then I walked out. I didn't look back. The fallout was, as I had planned, mostly silent on my end. She called dozens of times. Then she sent a flood of texts, shifting from panicked confusion to feigned innocence, then to rage-filled accusations. I never answered. I blocked her number. My lawyer handled everything. The legal battle was swift. The evidence was undeniable. The financial documents clearly showed my sole contributions to our major assets. The gallery, unable to secure new financing after I called the loan, was forced to close. The house was sold, and since it was purchased with my premarital inheritance, she received only a small, court-mandated portion. Within 6 months, it was over. I moved to a new city, took a new job, and started rebuilding. The silence that I had used as a weapon became my sanctuary. It gave me space to heal, to rediscover who I was without her. I learned that my identity wasn't tied to being Sarah's husband. It was just me, Mark. And that was enough. The best revenge wasn't seeing her life crumble. I take no joy in that. The best revenge was my silence. It was my refusal to engage in her drama. It was the calm, dignified way I removed myself from a toxic situation and chose my own peace over the chaos she created. I won not by fighting, but by walking away. I won by becoming the calmest man in the room, which was now a room of one. And in that quiet, I found my freedom. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've ever been through something similar, Remember, your peace is the most valuable thing you own. Don't let anyone take it from you. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more stories. Stay strong and take care.